The microphone fiend, the microphone fiend, the microphone fiend.
All right. And 1, 2, 3, go. All right. What up, party people, and the place to be? It's me, Peter Day, with the homie Nathan. Oh boy, that sounded bad.
Yeah, that ending didn't work.
So,
better than I can do.
I know. Welcome to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling podcast meets Peter Talks Wrestling with podcast with Nathan Headliner5. Not Headliners5, but Headliner5, right?
And 5 is the number, not the actual word spelled out.
Oh, yeah. So,
clarify that one.
Because there's been like a weird flux in events this week being weather related, we got a Raw review, and I think, that's the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. But I also scheduled to talk to Nate anyway, but because Raw was basically Smackdown, because it was a live taping, I'm going to do a review without Jake and basically make it Peter and Nathan Talks Wrestling this week. And we're going to go over Raw Down, Smack Raw. What would you call it, man?
Raw Down sounds good. That's
Raw Down?
Here that it's been called, but yeah.
That sounds very PG-13, man. It sounds very PG-13.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Raw Down.
Or Smackdown is Raw.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah, I saw that one thrown around a little bit.
Smackdown is Raw.
I saw people using that hashtag specifically, like on Thursday. So,
but you know what's crazy about this is that, and I guess we didn't talk about. I was trying to hold out before we started recording. Is that I used to watch Smackdown, and I stopped watching Smackdown not because everyone else's gripe and grief. I stopped watching.
And what is everybody else's gripe and grief?
It's just a Raw review. It's basically, you get matches, and then you're just constantly reminded what happened on Raw.
That's the reason I stopped watching too.
But I didn't mind that as much.
Well, I didn't mind it, but especially if I missed Raw. But they did, like, some of the matches they did on SmackDown, they would do the next Monday on Raw.
Yeah, yep.
So there's no point in watching it. Now that it's on Thursday, like I used to watch it on Fridays. Now that it's on Thursday, it's hard to watch because I'm not home. So
yeah.
I check it out online wherever I can. So when we were talking about that earlier off the air,
I stopped watching it because it's taped.
That's another thing too.
And it's funny
aspects.
Yeah, it's
takes the excitement out of it.
Yeah, it takes my attention off. Like, because it's one thing to watch Raw and you just see it as it happens and it's really interactive. As for Raw, and it's all piped in noise and there's you just don't get the genuine sort of response and reactions, say what the crowd should be making, and I just fell out of it.
On a tape show, if they don't get the reaction they want, they pipe it in later.
It's so production. And I think, and we'll get into this, I think they did audio magic to the Royal Rumble. They showed that clip of Roman Reigns throwing Big Show and Kane out, and then the whole.
They played that one as it is. No. Are you talking about SmackDown?
I'm talking about the SmackDown when they showed that clip, and it was audio magic what they done. It was amazing. But I guess what I was saying is, but I always like the matches on Raw, on SmackDown, because it's not patterned like Raw, but I would say over the past 2 years they've been sort of patterning themselves after Raw, and I don't want to watch two Raws.
Yeah. See, and my thing is I like a wrestling show to end with a wrestling match, but the way they structure Raw nowadays, they've been doing this for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
They started the show with a segment. Now it's any time from 20 minutes to a half hour. where the first segment will occur, and then at the end they end with a segment.
Yes.
Whereas SmackDown, when it was on Friday, the thing I liked about SmackDown versus Raw was that they ended 9 times out of 10 with a match.
But in between then, you would get a Raw rebound, and then you would get from the Vault.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped watching, but I'm just saying, like, the differences in Raw and SmackDown are totally different in the way they treat them.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they're two different products, per se. Whereas Raw is like a sports entertainment-based product, and SmackDown is more of a wrestling-based product, just in how they structure the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, because like I said, they do, like, Raw always ends with a segment 9 times out of 10. SmackDown usually ends in a match 9 times out of 10. So it's like it's two different, it's the same company, but it's almost like it's two different brands of
Thus the brand split. I mean, and
the brand split doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why, that's one of the things they incorporated on purpose, to make you have that realization that, hey, these two shows are different from each other, even though they're both under the same umbrella.
But I think, but at that time, they had way more wrestlers getting way more pushes. And, you know, when they started,
why the brand split occurred.
Yeah, and when they started doing, like, multiple, like, super SmackDown and shit like that, I was like, oh boy. It's only because they've only decided to base their product around, say, 5 to 6 guys, and it's like they want to put all those guys on Raw, and it say, like, if someone gets over on SmackDown, they immediately go to Raw, and it's like, man, like, man, that, and it all came out in the Royal Rumble, like the fact that, like, there are no stars, like. Crickets. When someone comes out, crickets. And then maybe like one out of every 6 or 7 guys, I would say 5. I say 1 out of every 5 guys gets, like, a huge pop. Say outside of, say, the retro guys that come back. Like.
Well, I was gonna say that. I was just gonna mention that the biggest pop of the night, I think, was for Bubba Ray Dudley.
It was, but
he's not even in the company.
Yeah.
Like, on a regular basis.
It was him, and it was a given that he was gonna get a pop. I popped because I didn't when they did the whole, like, spoilers of who was gonna come back. I didn't even hear a whim of his name.
See, and I thought it was cool because, well, I read some stuff about him coming back, but I liked how, I can't remember who number 1 and number 2 were specifically.
It was The Miz and R-Truth. Okay. With his entire rap.
I don't remember The Miz does anything, because The Miz is terrible.
Miz is not terrible.
I'm not a fan. I'm sorry.
I'm not a fan either, but I don't think he's terrible. I think he's good at what he does.
He's annoying. Not to the point where it's good heel heat. He's annoying to where it's X-Pac heat, where I just want him to go away.
I just like how I like how he's just like this chump, he's kind of a nerd. I love it, and he doesn't. It's like no one in the company, even anytime he shows up to any segment or something, he's always clowned. I think he's perfect for that spot, because
that's because he's the dork that nobody invited to their party.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's why I like him, because he plays that role perfectly. And there has to be
that aspect of it, but that's about it.
Oh. So, all right, we're gonna go. All right, so Raw down from Hartford, Connecticut, and this is where they were supposed to have Raw, but because Mother Nature said hell no, and
and this is the first time that they've had to cancel a show due to weather. It's the second time Raw has ever been canceled in its entirety. The first one was when the Chris Benoit tragedy happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like this last Monday when I found out that Raw got canceled. I found a GIF online that said it had it's like 1,100 however many episodes there are of Raw, and it had that number, and it said -1, and it said below it had the Raw logo, and it said the streak is over. I tweeted that out, and I said never forget #Raw, and it went all over the place.
I wonder, like, if someone did a meme, if you would have did a meme with that, with the black kid with his eyes, like when the streak ended.
Elias Mabee or whatever his name is.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. See, I can't make memes, so like the stuff that I do post, it's like it's already pre-made, so, but it's like it was too good not to post, so I had to do it.
So the show begins, and you know what? What I love about Triple H is that he embraces heat like you wouldn't believe. And I'm surprised that Stephanie didn't come out, because both of them are just, I mean, it's like heroin. They're like heroin addicts to like heat. And anytime,
Stephanie's the best heel in the company right now.
And anytime
she's not even a wrestler.
Yeah, and anytime they know, like, they're gonna walk out to like a really pissed off crowd, like he embraces it, like just hell yeah, like. It's pretty funny, but he comes out and he's like, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw," and it almost seems as if he was fucking with us a little bit, like just like, I don't give a fuck about SmackDown. I'm just here, like, and also like the play on, oh, the fans don't really remember things or something. I just thought it was like a really,
they didn't have fish brands.
Yeah, like I think it was a really asshole thing to do, but He goes into his promo, and he's just chomping at the bit to basically get at all the marks and all the people that started a whole hashtag cancel the network. And
you know that there's only 17 people that were using that hashtag, but all 17 of those people were tweeting it so much that that's how it got trending.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because you don't need a million people using one hashtag, because I've seen Raw, like nights when Raw happens, where Raw's not even the number one trend. They'll still lie about it and tell you it's the number one trend, but it's not. But yeah, there was like 17, like at most it was like 20 people using the hashtag, but they were tweeting enough to where the hashtag got trending, and then once people saw it trending, they would jump on the bandwagon. And then that's why it was trending for 3 days straight, because not only did they get it trending, but there was absolutely nothing on TV from Sunday to whenever it stopped.
But yeah, well, I mean, I guess someone who isn't as technologically savvy as, say, the execs at the WWE headquarters, they probably, in their mind, is just like every Mark and dude who lives in his mom's basement is. My friend's Mark says hi. My friend Mark says hi. That's my favorite comeback to anybody. They're just thinking that a bunch of people are just like talking shit, and you got he starts off with this whole, like, he's had time to basically digest, say, what happened at the Royal Rumble to now, which I still think is it's like a miracle that it was a miracle that snowstorm came. That Raw got canceled. Yeah, I was gonna mention that, because it was almost like a blessing in disguise. Yeah, and after what happened at the Rumble, they needed some time to let fans like chill out. Yeah, and fans were. There's a guy that I follow on Twitter. His name is Dre. He does podcasts through Four Corners Radio. He lives in Philadelphia. He was at the arena where the show took place. He went to a bar afterwards, and he said that people were just acting crazy. It's like they were tearing up the city and all that. Meanwhile, it's like, I mean, yeah, I was upset that Daniel Bryan pretty much was in the Rumble and he got thrown out like a sack of trash. Same with everybody else, and I wasn't happy with Kane and Big Show doing all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But you have to realize, wrestling is a show. It's fake. I know that
Like, I'm passionate about it. I know.
Damn it,
everybody
Nathan,
else
don't be
is
breaking
passionate about it.
kayfabe, man.
But I'm just saying, it's like getting to the point where it's like you really have to value your life when you freak out that much about something that's completely predetermined.
Yeah. But again, the wrestling fan is not like any other consumer.
Exactly.
It's just not. We're not wired like someone who watches The Walking Dead. We're not wired the same way like someone watches sports, actual sports. We're not wired the same way, say, someone watches I don't know, like soap operas, because people want to say that it's a soap opera, but like it's not like when someone.
It is and it isn't.
No, I'm just saying, like,
the aspect of a soap opera that wrestling has, in my opinion.
I think, I mean, whenever I try to talk to people about wrestling, you know, because I'm a very proud wrestling fan, and I tell people all the time that I actually do a podcast. That's how much into wrestling I am. And I explain it to them that it's more like a comic strip. It's like a live action comic strip. And these people are more or less action. They're like superheroes, and we watch because someone the same way that we react if we're not happy to a wrestling event is the same way that someone watching a comic strip would fucking get pissed. Say if their favorite comic hero like they'll fucking just stop. They'll fucking tear the place up off the pieces.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like, oh God, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life now? I'm not into this shit. Let me like tear this motherfucker up. But so yeah, like and he goes into this idea that Triple H, back to Triple H, don't like being told what to do. And it was a straight shot at people bitching about how either A, Daniel Bryan didn't win, and B, how Roman Reigns won. You know.
See, and I didn't catch that because I was watching at 2 a.m, so I was really tired.
Yeah.
Had I been fully awake, I caught him saying that. I heard him say that, but I didn't like completely understand the meaning of it until I was able to like think about it the next day.
Very passive aggressive, like very extremely passive aggressive. And then
that's why Triple H is so good, because he knows how to play the marks and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I what was it? There was in my podcast with Jake this week, I was like, they could completely turn this into a shoot and
I listened to the one
kind of rub it in their face like
last week.
And he sort of did it. Because especially when he got to the 1 million subscriber part, where it's like, you know.
That was a big screw you to the people that were trying to say,
meanwhile,
WWE because so and so didn't win.
Yeah, and meanwhile, in like what the fuck we do world, we got 1 million subscribers. You know, and eat a dick, and you know, it just kind of rub it in. And I think that's, if they could turn this into such good, like, entertaining. This could be a very entertaining thing, because you know what, we are what's the word, invested now. I mean, if we've never been invested before in the product, we're so invested now, and they have the opportunity to really interact with us.
Well, it's like we're shareholders now, because we all, in a way, because we all are buying into the network.
Yeah, and no other, say, sports entertainment company has that now. I mean, the closest thing.
Well, there's only one sports entertainment company.
Well, you have Walking Dead, and then you have The Talking Dead, and I think that's probably the only time in any show that I've ever known of that you actually that it becomes interactive. Say the people.
Yeah, I've never watched that show, so I don't know.
Me neither, but I know what happens. That the people.
Sons of Anarchy, I think, kind of copied that whole format too, because they would have their show and then they would do Anarchy afterward.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they copied the format from The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't translate as well, but other shows have tried to do it. So
yeah, and like, what do I say? Yeah, you got the writers, the producers. You basically are inside You know,
like in the writers' room.
yes, and now you're behind the curtain, and this is how it is with the WWE now. And say post this WrestleMania, like WrestleMania, but Royal Rumble. I feel like this Royal Rumble is a real turning point, and say the WWE, the company WWE, social media, and the idea of an interactive programming. They tried to do that with reality television, but the difference between reality television and pro wrestling is the fact that it's live, and you got your antagonist and you got your protagonist talking with you, at you, like you this is what's going on now. There's not going to be any cuts. There's not going to be any edits. It's like boom. You're here, and we feed off of what you give to us, and then we feed it back to you. And this right here, I swear, it's going to go down. Like this Royal Rumble is going to go down as the turning point. Say just like when Vince McMahon showed up on WCW, like this big turning point. And
you mean Shane McMahon?
Shane McMahon, yeah. Well, Vince McMahon showed up on the video screen.
Yeah, but he was on the Raw set.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was on the Raw set, and being fed to the WCW audience that was at the show, and it was like, what turning point, And I feel like that's what this Royal Rumble is. But he addressed Triple H. He addresses the Rumble, and he kind of goes into like a PG-13ish kind of thing about the NFL and how the NFL has had like some controversies over the week. And he's
talking about balls and stuff like that, and referencing the whole Deflategate thing,
and ball. I just thought it was a very PG-13ish sort of shtick that was happening there.
There was a lot of weird like PG-13 moments, because Cena did one later in the show.
Yes.
With referencing Lana and Rusev. I didn't like Cena's promo all that much, because I prefer him more as a wrestler. I think the guy's great, but personally, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack because I'm supposed to hate John Cena.
Don't worry about that.
I don't hate John Cena. I hate how he's booked sometimes. And the only thing I really don't like about John Cena is his corny promos, and sometimes he can, with his corny promos, he can make someone else look like garbage.
Yeah, that too. But we'll get to that. But Triple H also, I guess when he addresses his feud with Sting, which now it's really like forming up, taking shape.
I can't wait for that match.
He talks about how he's basically going to go face to face with him, not a match, but actually have dialogue face to face with him.
But it's going to lead up to a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, at Fastlane. He was promoting Fastlane.
Yeah.
And then he starts talking about Cena, and he used the phrase that he's the past, right? And that's the first time tonight that someone referenced Cena as the past. And I think with this whole Roman Reigns, we're talking about, again, this change in direction, like this turning point in the WWE is that, yes, they're going to roll with Roman Reigns as the guy, and that Cena is going to be slowly but surely phased out. Yeah, phased out. And then they show the Rumble finale. I mean, what happened in the finale. And then he talks about how he's going to make, on Monday, he's going to make a earth-shattering announcement. Yeah. What do you think that announcement's going to be?
I have no idea, but I know it won't be something that the fans necessarily want.
Oh, I think it's going to be something that the fans are going to absolutely love.
I think it will be too, but I don't think it's going to be anything involving Daniel Bryan.
No, I think it's going to. If you ask me, I think he's going to strip Roman Reigns of his he's going to strip Roman Reigns of his Rumble win, and he's going to
I would be fine with that, but it would make another pay-per-view worthless.
Yeah, but hey, thank the network. But check this out. And not only that, and this is like, tweet me if I'm right when it happens, all right? I mean, that's not like I'm going to sign my name in blood to this, but it's going to be something as simple as the Royal Rumble was what's the word? There's going to be a technicality to make the Royal Rumble a what do you want to call it?
A wash?
A wash, right? And I think it's going to surround the idea of it's going to be disqualified or something, or I can't think of the word. That what's his name? Curtis Axel was never able to compete.
Yeah, no, that they're not going to do that because the rules in the Royal Rumble state that if a and I've seen a lot of people saying that, making memes that, Curtis Axel's the real winner of the Royal Rumble. The rules in the Royal Rumble state, if you go, you can probably find it on Google. There's several pages of the WWE rulebook that have been put up. They're not all in the same place, but I remember hearing this rule being mentioned before. But when you come out as a Royal Rumble participant, you have to get into the ring before the next guy comes out. If you don't, then you're eliminated. So by the time you come out to the ring and the bell goes off, you have from that point until the next entrant to get in the ring.
Well,
basically, like Curtis Axel could have got into the ring like a second before the next entrant came out, and he would have still been in the match, but he would have had to get into the ring before the next entrant to be in the match.
Well, how about this? That's going to be some weird technicality. I swear to God, they're going to pull it out. It's going to be very frivolous. I guess that's the point I'm going to make.
Well, with Curtis Axel?
No, I mean, I until you just corrected me, that's what I thought was going to happen. But check this out, right? But check this out. But the thing is that they're going to find some weird technicality. I guess that's the point I was making. But the idea of this happening is actually going to work even more in Roman Reigns' favor, that he's going to get this push, because all of a sudden he becomes basically the held down worker, very much like Stone Cold and Vince, and very much like Daniel Bryan and Triple H. Like, he's going to be even more the focus of the story, And
they have a lot of backwards legwork to do on this, on the back end of the story going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, totally.
But my main problem with Roman Reigns, not the fact that he's main eventing WrestleMania, it's the fact that I know nothing about the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a little bit of that on Monday, but still, I feel like I barely know who he is.
But I see it happening. I think that's going to be the announcement, and all the marks are going to get happy for it. But I don't think they're going to finally realize that it's all a work. Like, that it's going to be all a ruse, to the fact that you're going to get more Roman Reigns as this sort of fight the odds, fight the authority, and gain his spot at WrestleMania. And We'll see. We'll definitely see. So, but speaking of Reigns, he comes out after he says that he's going to make this announcement, and he talks about how he sees no controversy, and that he's going to WrestleMania and blah blah blah. And he goes, well, deal with this match, and he sets a match with the Big Show, and immediately I go, oh my God, are we going to repeat? It's basically anyone at the top spot, say other than Daniel Bryan, is going to get the "Let's go, sucks" chant. Because, take out Cena add Reigns.
Yeah.
Let's go, Roman. Roman sucks. Immediately started happening. And I go, oh, wow. Wow. Is it, there's no, it's like, it's not even, what's the word? It wasn't even, there's no time, there was no grace period for this. It just went, bam, okay. He's the new champ now.
Yeah.
You know, you can add something.
Could you repeat the last couple words that you said? Because my call dropped out, so I missed it.
Oh, it's all good. I was saying that as soon as the show started, as soon as the match started between Roman Reigns and the Big Show, you heard the children and the women go, "Let's go, Roman." And then immediately the dudes went, Roman sucks. So right now, he's the new champ. Take out the Cena, add Roman.
Yep. I think the reason they did that was because they're sick of, they probably want to see the guy wrestle somebody new.
Mm-hmm.
I know I am, because it seems like he's been having matches with Big Show forever.
Yeah.
I went to Raw, I went to the Christmas Raw. Back on December 22nd of last year. He wrestled Big Show at that show. So it's this is the feud that's going on and on and on.
But I think it's needed. It reminds me of...
Big Show's not the guy to get him ready, though.
I think so. I think so. And plus, I guess by design, the fact that, at his size and you got him, it reminds me of the Giant, Andre the Giant versus... Ultimate Warrior when they had their feud, and it was they fought each other a million times. And
when Andre, there was one match where Warrior ran full steam into Andre's fist, and he got knocked out.
Yeah, but that's what it was. He was grooming him as this not only a strong guy, but Andre the Giant outside his size was a real good worker in the ring. He was a good technician, and he knew how to work within the ring. Now, people want to get on, say, even Triple H about this, but Big Show and Kane, those guys are the same dudes. Those guys can actually get in the ring with almost anybody and make them look good, and then kind of maneuver them a bit. There's one spot in that match, right, where they're going to do the Superman punch on the turnbuckle, and I think he's about to climb the rope, and Roman Reigns, he runs up and pops him with the Superman punch. And he stands there for a little bit. And then you just see the Big Show kind of push him away. Okay, go. Don't just stand here. You just see, you literally see, go watch the match again. But he takes his hand and he's pushes him. So don't just stand there and suck it up. Keep going. Okay. And I thought that was one of the things that showcased the fact that Big Show's in the ring actually teaching him how to be a worker, and how to go from move to move, and at the same time he's big
and have a flow.
Yes.
But see, okay, that's another thing. There's another main problem I've noticed with Roman Reigns too. Whereas when he was in the Shield, all he would do is come in. He would basically be the cleanup guy during their matches, where he would hit his 5 moves, and then that's all he would do. Three
moves.
Well, okay, I'm saying 5. Cena's got the 5 moves of doom, and that's what everybody says. But okay, so 3 moves. He does those 3 moves: the Superman punch, the spear, and
the leg kick on the side. The
leg kick on
the apron.
Yep. So he does those 3 moves. He always would do those 3 moves during cleanup of Shield matches.
Well, basically a hot tag guy.
Yeah, now he was a hot tag guy. He's still a hot tag guy in singles matches.
That's my whole thing. People
he doesn't have. He's still got the 3 moves, but he doesn't have anything else.
He has no repertoire, and I was listening to
him something.
I was listening to the And we'll move on. I don't want to make this all about Roman Reigns. I mean, the story.
By the way, if I could chime in real quick, there's a meme I saw on Twitter In fact, I was trying to go back and find it, but it's a picture of Brock Lesnar in his Minnesota Vikings gear, and it's a picture of Roman Reigns in his Minnesota Vikings gear. And it says Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Loser has to go back to the Vikings.
Oh. People.
And they're my team. They're my home team, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, man. I mean, people like I don't know what it is about like wrestling fans who just they always hate the story of the failed football player. Yeah, you know, it's like, oh, here we go again.
Oh, he failed at football. He failed at the UFC.
Yeah, now he's in the.
Didn't fail at the UFC. He did pretty good.
The fact
that he was only at 50% the entire time scares me.
That's actually giving him a lot of credit. I'm thinking he was more like 35%.
And if the rumors are true, if he leaves WWE, providing that he doesn't sign a new contract after WrestleMania, if he leaves WWE and goes to UFC again, imagine what he can do at 100%.
But I'm sorry, he's not at 100%. I think he's better, but man, you just don't take a piece of your intestine out. You know, when things leave the body, that's bad. Let alone a chunk of your intestine. That's major. I was talking about this on another previous podcast, and like people think he's just going to go to the UFC like that. I'm like, I don't think he's going to go back. And if he does, he's not going to be placed he's going to have to go through the fighters commission, and I think they probably turn him down because you just don't lose a piece of your intestine and then go into a ring where someone's trying to kill you. I just don't see it happening.
That's.
You know, I can understand if like he lost a testicle or something, you know, or had his pancreas taken out or some shit, but an intestine? No, I'm sorry.
A couple people on Twitter tried to tell me once upon a time that MMA was safer than wrestling, and I just don't agree with it.
I think they have their own.
The schedule is a lot lighter, but I don't think it's safer.
It's safer in a way that because it's going at a full steam pace, that there's someone there if shit goes down to stop it.
Yeah.
Now, in a wrestling ring, it reminds me of the time that it was a match. I think it was Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan, and he got a stinger. What is called?
Who got a stinger?
Daniel Bryan, and they stopped the match.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I don't.
I think it was a Smackdown match. And what do they call that? They call it a stinger, right? That's like well, anyway, he got hurt.
I believe so.
And they were like, we got to stop the match. And it seemed like he was just like, what is this storyline? No, he actually got hurt. And that was one of the telltale signs to where Daniel Bryan's health was, and going into say having to have his surgery. It was like the first tell.
Real signs.
Yeah. And they stopped the match, but it went longer than it needed to, and that's what makes I would say, you know, because you got someone just falling on a piece of plywood over and over. Every once in a while, take a potato to the face. You get hit with turnbuckles, hit with chairs. A lot of the times, the performers are still performing, and you don't know whether to either say, oh, someone has a concussion to stop the match, or is it all they just pretending? Because when you see the referee get down, they're like, are you okay? You can see them really checking on them. And the performer, very much like a football player, can be like, no, I'm good. I'm going back on the field. So I can understand the argument of UFC being a little bit safe. That referee, that dude in the dreads, that black dude in the dreads, when he gets in, he's like, stop. That's stop.
Herb Dean.
Yes, stop. Like, there's no continuing this, which kind of backs up your friend's statement of UFC being safer.
Yeah, that's true.
But on the other hand, you got a guy in the ring trying to kill you. Like, you know, no one's in the WWE ring trying to kill the other person. That's the only difference.
Well, and I can attest. You mentioned rings earlier. I can attest to how hard they are, because a lot of people that don't know anything about wrestling think that a wrestling ring is as soft as a trampoline.
No.
as someone who's broken 2 ribs in a wrestling ring,
Oh,
I
God.
can tell you that is BS.
Yeah, it's a fucking piece of plywood. It's like, dude.
It's not. It's like 16 feet by. It's like a 16 by 8 is what they use. So there's like 12 16 by 8 boards underneath that ring.
My God.
WWE's rings are homemade, so they're constructed differently.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you go to like highspots.com, you can buy a ring.
Yeah.
If you buy a ring, they come in like there's like 12 boards that are all 16 feet by 8 inches long or whatever, or not 8 inches, but like maybe 2 feet wide. So.
But yeah, taking a bump on that fucker.
Yeah.
It's.
And I was a referee, and I took. I jumped in the air and I flung my legs out and I went splat on the mat. Well, it was 30 degrees outside, and so the ring was harder than it was supposed to be because it was frozen. So it was like hitting concrete.
Shit.
So for all those people that say, "Oh, wrestling's fake and it's like jumping on a trampoline," you're an idiot. So go away.
Yeah. I totally understand that. I mean, Tough Enough definitely. Some of the episodes that I watch showcase that, especially the Triple H bump one, where he's like, take a bump, and the guys had to hit their back.
Was that the first time you saw that, or did you get a chance to see that when it was actually airing live back in 2001?
I caught it on the back end.
Okay.
Caught it on the back end, and it's like, yo, that shit hurts, And I think I've seen someone else take a bump. And they almost died. Just from doing a straight bump on it back, but to move forward,
yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good. So, there was this one part of the match, right, that I thought was really weird, where Big Show had Roman Reigns up, and this sort of like Roman Reigns is doing a handstand, and he has him in this sort of leg lock.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
And, I could praise Big Show all day about how he could go in the ring and do this stuff. That was a very awkward
But
moment
it would have
in
been
the
fine
ring.
for somebody to do it of a normal size, but him having someone do that to him is you have to suspend disbelief a little bit more as a fan. I mean, we already have to suspend disbelief as a fan anyway, but that spot was really hard for me to wrap my head around, even at 2-3 in the morning when I watched it.
And then it led to this really, really, really poorly executed, like a Hurricanrana, and it sent Big Show over the top rope, which was like. It basically, like, Roman Reigns just moved his leg, and then Big Show just kind of, like, just throws himself out of the ring.
Someone made a gif of that, and I couldn't, I watched it live during the match, and I thought nothing of it, but then someone made a gif of it, and I watched it, 10 times.
It's hilarious.
To figure out what was going on.
Exactly. It was
it was ridiculous.
And the crowd just booed. It was just like, come on, really? Are we really supposed to buy that? But basically, it gets to the point where I think he has Reigns down. He's about to get on the top rope, which is, I don't think... has there ever been a moment where Big Show got in the ring and got successful? It was like...
What's that?
Is there any time that Big Show's ever got on the top rope or climbed the buckles and something came out of it?
WCW. He climbed on the top rope and did a drop kick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I know... Who was it?
That's the one and only time. And actually, I think it was off the second rope, but still a 7'4" guy doing a drop kick is pretty damn impressive.
Damn right, you'd think? But I was just like, it reminds me of the... when Ric Flair's thrown into the turnbuckle and he flips the turnbuckle and he's about to run to the other side. I think when he was younger, that was like his move, sort of like the what's that move that not Roman Reigns, but Ambrose does when he's thrown into the ropes and he kind of kicks back and does the
Nigel McGuinness lariat.
yes, like
Yeah, he borrowed that from Nigel McGuinness, but it's the rebound lariat.
but yeah,
But
so
I don't think he does it as good as Nigel McGuinness does.
But I think, I guess what I was saying is, I think Flair sort of, that was like his thing, that he would get flipped over the turnbuckle and he would run and then he would jump off the top rope when he was younger. That was like an effective move.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Nigel McGuinness thing. Like, you think he's out, but like that's his rebound. But when he got older and he started doing, he was doing that move, like say in the 90s, he would always get met. He would always get met.
Yeah. Well, then when he re-signed to WWE and was wrestling, he always would get caught and get thrown off the rope.
Yeah, a clothesline or something.
When he finally, because I had never seen, like, up until he did it in WWE, I don't think I had ever seen him actually do a move off the top rope, meaning Flair.
Uh-huh.
So when he did the move, he did the chop off the head chop off the top rope. I remember the crowd just went insane because they had never seen something like that, because up until that point, they didn't let him jump off the top rope and be successful at it.
Yeah, or he would, like he would get caught. Yeah, like whoever was in the ring would catch him and kind of throw him off the rope, throw him off the buckle.
And he loved taking that bump.
Or either catch a lariat as he's walking the apron to get to the buckle. So
Ric Flair is amazing to me because not only is he the greatest wrestler of all time, but for about 90% of his career, he couldn't take a correct back bump. So he always had to land on his hip.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because of, I don't know if you know the story, but he got into a plane crash and broke his back.
Oh, wow.
So after that point, he couldn't land on his back to take a back bump, so he completely had to readjust himself to be able to fall a safer way for himself. That's why if you always, like, if he took a suplex, you'd always notice that the guy that was doing the move would have Flair up in the air, and Flair would be on his side, and that's so Flair could land correctly on his hip and not kill himself.
Yeah, but that doesn't do his hip any justice. But so basically, Rain hits him with two Superman punches. Like, he gets guided to get away from him after he hits the first one. He hits him, and then he hits him with a spear. Reigns wins with the spear.
Well, and then the second Superman punch, I remember he was in the corner and he cocked his fist to make it mean something, I guess.
Yeah.
I happened to notice that. So he did that, and then the spear, and then it was over from there.
Yeah. So Reigns gets the win. Next thing is Vince McMahon. He shows up in a video to basically... It was sort of weird. It was like, hello, folks. Vince McMahon here. It's like,
Vince gets older and older by the day.
It was like, I was like, what am I watching here? Like, is this like American Bandstand or something right now? But he's standing in front and he's basically offering, he's like, thanks for the support and the million subscribers. Like, everyone's like happy about this million subscribers thing. That they're going to give away he basically announces that he's going to give away the
February for free.
So what they're saying, it's not so much February that they're giving away for free, they're giving away Fastlane for free.
Which means that, last time they did a free month, Survivor Series was awesome because the undercard wasn't really that good, but that main event was amazing. Probably one of the best Survivor Series matches I've ever seen. Plus, you had the whole history being made, 30 years, Sting finally setting foot in a WWE ring.
Yes.
Because up to that point, he had never done it. And now they're doing another free... So that one paid off. Now they're doing another free month. They're going to have to do something big at Fastlane.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because if Fastlane goes over like a fart in church, I would not... If it was me, I wouldn't give a free month of the network away when you've got a pay-per-view that isn't yet established. They were smart in doing it with Survivor Series because that was an established pay-per-view. I know they wouldn't do it with WrestleMania, but they might have been able to do it with the Royal Rumble.
I guess it's about the number of subscribers versus the number of paid subscribers. Because you know what? Because here's the thing. And I think they got scared over the cancel WWE. It was like their comeback, even though they ended up getting to 1 million. And there's also like an algorithm going on with that cancel subscription. If you cancel your subscription, you're still on books as a subscriber until the cycle is done. Until your billing cycle. Yeah, until your cycle's done. So that million subscribers that they hit are also people who have still who have canceled the network, and they're still on the books as a paid customer. And then here's the thing. Now, this grace period of I guess from say from Thursday to now, which is the last day of the subscription, when they find out that there's a free subscription, it's like, well, I don't want to give them my hard paid cash. I don't want to support the WWE. Well, you don't have to give them your hard paid cash. You can have the network for free. So what happens in the psyche of the person who's just hell bent on not giving the WWE their money when they can still have the network without giving them the money? So what do these? But
only for a month.
Yeah, but what do these people do? Oh well, I'll just cancel afterwards. It's like, shut up. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's like this mind control thing that the WWE is working right now, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Like I said,
Ian, do you have the network?
No, I don't have high speed internet.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
that would make sense.
Yeah, our shit dropping every once in a while.
Yeah.
It goes to show, like, let alone if I'm getting like HD quality, like, full on shits with this.
See, and I've had the network since day one, and I had Quest Internet, and it's advertised as high speed internet, but I was sending so much information out that once you do that, they cut you off.
Yeah.
So I got to a point where I couldn't watch the live feed because it would freeze every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I finally ditched Quest and then went to Comcast, and now my network is fine.
See, I need to get something, man. I mean, one of my biggest beefs is the fact that I can't upload my podcast as fast as I want to, and also and just do different stuff. I mean, I'm not working with the best technology, I tell you that.
Do you live in an area where internet connections are normally slow?
No, I just got clear.
Okay.
I just have clear.
Okay.
Because I had a little bit of money to be able to get something, because my neighbors moved. I was always leeching from my neighbors, and they moved out, and I was just like, I can't not go without internet. So I just went on and paid for like the cheapest whatever internet I could possibly find. But we're talking 4 years ago, where the internet prices were different, and now it's cheaper. It's cheaper now to get like a faster connection than what I have now, but I would have to basically go without internet for a week to and wait for another hub from Time Warner or some shit like that. And I don't want to go without internet at my house. But moving forward.
Yeah, we're getting off a lot of tangents.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not a lot really to go through. They re-announced Arnold Schwarzenegger going into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
You have anything to say about that?
I'm fine with the celebrity. I mean, sometimes the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame doesn't make too much sense to me, but this one actually does.
Yeah.
So, and there's, have you heard, well, this has to do with the Hall of Fame. Did you ever hear about that Connor the Crusher kid?
I know of him, yeah.
The kid that passed away had a brain tumor or brain cancer or whatever. There's a petition going around online to try to get him inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
So, and I think that would be really cool, but I don't know if they're going to do it when they've already got Arnold Schwarzenegger going in.
Yeah. But also that kid's red hot, and I think as much as, his story is red hot, especially with him and Daniel Bryan. If they do it, they would have to do it now. Do something, exactly. Or do actually at the Hall of Fame to basically, because they're marketing they're marketing this kid's story with that
Well, they had,
WrestleMania 30 All Access.
Yeah, WWE 24.
Yes.
Yep. You had to have a heart of stone to watch that thing.
Yeah,
Holy
and
crap.
if they're gonna market this kid's story like that, they may as well give him some sort of something engraved into the Hall of Fame. Something. They got to do it.
And I think it would be great if they did that, but I also see a backlash of media outlets that don't know anything about wrestling would say, "Oh, they're just doing it as a publicity stunt."
Well, do you think the WWE mind if other medias are talking about them anyhow?
No, Vince doesn't give two shits about what people think about him.
Dude, it's the Kathy Griffin formula, or Andy Warhol. Why be famous when you could be infamous? And I remember we'll get back on track, but I remember when Kathy Griffin won her Emmy. And she goes, it's something I always hate when someone comes up here and thanks God for the fact that they won an award. I'm here to tell you that God had absolutely nothing to do with this,
Yeah.
And it was just like this big news, and she was just getting blasted. And I remember seeing her on something, I don't know, maybe it was like Ellen or something, and she was like, and I think someone asked her, how do you feel about all this scrutiny? And she whips out a New York Times. She goes, you see this? I am on the front page of the New York Times. That's all I have to say about that. And that's the same thing with WWE. They love the scrutiny as long as they get the attention. The only thing is if someone gets killed, like Chris Benoit or like Owens.
He didn't get killed. He did it to himself.
I know. I mean, sorry for the word.
Yeah,
wrangling.
but no, I know what you mean. But
they don't want that kind of negative.
That suggest that Kevin Sullivan did it.
Oh God, you know what? I don't even want to go into that. All right.
Yeah.
That's just too much. But I guess the point I'm making is the WWE, hook or crook, any kind of publicity they can get from other media outlets, they'll do it.
Good or bad, it doesn't
because
matter.
even with the Benoit stuff, they still got a lot of mainstream publicity, and it's still to this day kind of paying off.
Because 2007 is the highest grossing year of that company in history.
Yeah, and a lot of fans are still fans today because of that story being basically everywhere, from CNN to NBC. You got fucking, everyone's talking about it. So. They're benefiting.
Yeah.
So if some media outlet is going to do that, they're assholes for doing that. But at the same time, Vince is looking at him and it's like, hey man, that's mainstream media press. I'll take that. So so to move on, we got Seth Rollins coming out, and he's basically gloating. I told you so, that I'm basically the future of this company. He comes out with J&J and just basically pounding his chest. And he opens I went in and I broke his rib and with the biggest, baddest man on the planet. And, I almost took Cena out, blah, 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 blah. And he's right, which is funny. He has a lot to be proud of, what you think about it.
He's going to be the WWE champion at some point this year.
Yeah,
there's no doubt in my mind.
Either way, man, that guy is phenomenal.
He's the best thing going in WWE right now.
And it sucks that he has to be a heel to a certain extent, because I don't know if you remember the part in the podcast with Jake and how I said, he's this jerk.
People want to cheer him.
Yeah, when you pulling off shit like that Phoenix Rising move, or when you jump fucking 50 yards from the rope onto Brock Lesnar, dropping like one of the most devastating elbows ever. How can you boo this man? How can you?
I know I can't, but it's hard. Like, if I go to a wrestling show, it's hard to boo guys that I want to cheer for, But
I don't want to cheer for Seth Rollins. But when he does shit like that, Just like, that gray area of Bray Wyatt where he's like, what, is he a fake baby face or is he heel? When he basically, when last Rumble, not last Rumble, but the Rumble before, when he catches Daniel Bryan diving out of the fucking ring and he catches him with one of the sickest Sister Abigail's I think he's ever done. It's like, man, you better watch that. You gotta turn babyface, man.
That match was amazing.
And say what was it? Brawl on the Christmas brawl he had with Rollins, when everyone's telling him to one more tree. Like, the heel's not supposed to fucking do what the fans say, but
that's the one I was at.
And lo and behold, he takes him and he throws him into the tree that everyone asked him to do. It's like, if that would have been Triple H, he would have stopped midway and been like, fuck that tree. Fuck y'all. I ain't doing what y'all want, and get the heat.
Yep.
But with Seth Rollins, when he's pulling shit like that off, he needs to stop. Like, he really needs to fucking stop. Or he's gonna actually, all that work that he's putting into being such a fucking asshole is gonna go to waste. That's all I'm saying. It's gonna go to waste because people are gonna just love to see him do this amazing stuff. Now,
Dan, I disagree with that because he does amazing stuff in the ring, but he knows what he's doing. He knows how to be a heel on the microphone. So as long as he hits his points home and just kills it on the mic every week like he's been doing, people are gonna boo him.
Yeah, but like
because he's a great wrestler, but he comes across like a scrappy, smarmy heel, or just like a scumbag where you wouldn't want to like him.
Well, you could be a scumbag. But you could be a scumbag. You could be a scumbag in your voice all day, but if it doesn't translate with you being a scumbag in the ring, you're gonna fuck around and have people cheering for you. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm saying, like, if he, like, as long as he's got J&J security out doing and cheating for him, he'll be fine in the role that he's in.
Again, I'm not scolding him for doing these things. I'm just saying he needs to watch that shit. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just trying to defend the guy.
You want to keep that shit to a bare minimum. And I want to see the Phoenix rise. And I want to see that fucking leap and breaking someone's rib, which they're focusing on, by the way.
Yep.
The ribs being broken, the payoff to the ribs being broken. And how the hell is some guy like Roman Reigns going to beat Brock Lesnar? Oh, remember that broken rib? He's going to get hit with a spear with it. All right? So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I can see that playing into the match.
Oh yeah,
I wonder if the rib breaking is legit or if it's just something that they're working into the story subliminally that we don't know.
Well, it is a very subliminal
point in saying that.
Yeah, they're going to work that angle to this rib, and they're going to keep reminding you of its existence.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the one thing that gets Reigns over in that match if it does go down that way. It'll probably take 3.
Dan, I would buy that, but so I think if they go with that route with the match, I think it could be really good.
Well, it just seems they're setting it up. Like, you can just see them clearly setting this up by bringing up the idea of a broken rib. Yeah.
And to really sell it, like you said, if Roman Reigns happens to hit 3 spears in the match, it would be really cool if they would be able to have, like, not necessarily do, like, eternal bleeding, because that you can't make somebody bleed eternally. Like, it's not magic because it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
But if like Brock Lesnar even like puts a blood capsule in his mouth, and then like chomps down on it after the 3rd one, and then he's bleeding from the mouth. That would survive.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to do it.
As corny as that is, but we as fans wouldn't know if it's real or fake blood based on what I just said.
And the corniness in itself is why we love wrestling.
Yeah. Exactly.
So Seth Rollins, he gives an open challenge, and I'm thinking, is he? It's just so lovely. I love. Never mind. Because I want to love this squirrely fuck. I want to fucking love him so much, but I don't want to be that fan that roots for the heel. I don't.
Yeah, I do that.
I don't want to cheer him on, but like he's getting better at being this character to where, and then the stuff in the ring, because, dude, I don't think I've seen a match yet where I didn't just get mad at myself for popping for something he did in the ring. He's not supposed to do that.
Dan, I've always been where I don't care. Well, when I was a kid, I wasn't this way, but when I got older, I was like, okay, I'm to the point where I don't give a crap if you're a face or a heel. If you're a good wrestler and if you have a good story, and if the company makes me care about the person, then I'm going to cheer for you. That's why I cheer for Seth Rollins. Whereas Dean Ambrose, I'm supposed to cheer for him. I could care less about that guy.
Oh man.
Because they made him look like a joke.
They're making him look like a joke, but I think
and that's why. I mean, I want to like the guy. It's just I can't because I can't take the guy seriously because like the exploding TV, which was what was
Are you still upset
really
about that,
put
dude?
Me over. Not so much anymore, but it's like it's just I can't put it out of my mind because it's like it's one of the things that to the point where I can't take the guy seriously.
Yeah.
Because they continuously make the guy look like a joke, and even if I were to forget about it, they'd make him do something else stupid that it's like, oh, okay, why am I supposed to take this guy seriously?
Yeah.
When stuff like that happens to him on a daily basis or on a weekly basis.
Yeah. So after he gives the open challenge, you have Ryback coming out, then you have Eric Rowan coming out, and then you have Ziggler coming out. And they're all... why are they bunching those guys together like that?
They were all the ones that were fired by the Authority.
So this is still an extended Survivor Series story. And they're just
Correct.
lumping these guys together.
Correct. And Eric Rowan was the guy, if you remember at the Rumble, he didn't... Or I think it was on Smackdown, they did all those qualifying matches for the Rumble, and they did the one with Bryan, Ziggler,
Ryback
and Rowan.
Yeah, and Ziggler
Rowan
was the odd man out.
Who didn't win his match.
Yeah.
And that's why he attacked whoever it was that he attacked. He attacked
Curtis
Axel and then got in the match.
Uh-huh.
So that's why they did that, because Eric Rowan was the only one out of those four guys that didn't win his match to get into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. But all of them didn't need to win. Match.
But they're lumped in. I'm just saying they're lumped in that way because they all were the ones that got fired because of Cena.
Well, I can't wait till they disband this little group because Rowan, he had his moment to get over as a babyface when he was facing the Big Show. When he dropped those stairs on him, that was the end of that because he was actually getting cheers.
See, and I like that guy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more growth that needs to be had with him, even more so than Reigns. But he had his opportunity to be like a cheered for babyface during that feud with the Big Show, and when they just dropped those stairs on him and sat on it, that was basically his career it was just that was his career right there. Like he could have got over in that stairs match, and I think we would appreciate him more as a babyface. But since then.
But do you think that's his fault, or do you think that's because of circumstances, because of the booking? Because
it's always about the booking.
Weird.
It's always about the booking. I mean, I'm not. Yeah. I'm just saying. I think they made a mistake by having him lose against the Big Show. The Big Show.
Oh, I totally agree.
Doesn't just like the whole Ascension versus the New Age Outlaws. Ascension had everything to lose in that match, and the Outlaws didn't have
a thing
to lose. It's like if they would have went over, why? And the Ascension, they needed to win because if they didn't go over, that's a wrap. And the same with Eric Rowan and the fact that he had to do the job. It didn't do him any favors. Well, how about this? He lost everything, and then it didn't really add anything to the Big Show. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like Kane losing. Like never mind. I digress. I move forward.
Yeah.
But between Eric Rowan being basically the cricket master, Ryback after his speech when he gave his little monologue on why he's wrestling, they could have ran for it, but then as soon as that happened, he got fired, and then a lot of wind got taken out, and he's like he's not really. It's going to take a while for him to get that cheer, that babyface cheering in, and Ziggler is just yet again in limbo. The way he just got dumped out of the ring like a sack of potatoes, coming in 30th.
Well, he's rumored to get the opening match of Mania, so.
Yeah, I heard about that, but still, like, it's these three knuckleheads look like just a bunch of losers lumped together. That's what they look like, a bunch of losers.
Yeah.
And it's
well, and I think they're doing that on purpose because they want you to believe that they're losers because they got fired.
Well, you know, they don't have the same liberty as a Daniel Bryan to be like this super over babyface right now. Like, he's very much an outlier to the idea of this person who could just keep his love still in the air. And Ziggler doesn't have that. You know, I'm sorry.
I think he does. Because every time he comes out, the crowd just goes nuts.
Not really. Not like Bryan. I mean...
Not like Bryan.
It's apples and oranges.
Like Bryan, but I'm saying, like, as far as, like, your top 5 guys that are going to pop the crowd, Ziggler would be in that list. Whether it's low on the list or high on the list, he's still going to be on the list.
I know, but he's not going to... He still doesn't have the liberty. If he sinks more and more now, then, you know, I just don't see a moment where he's going to be able to get that momentum back up to, say, to the point where he cashed in a year ago, the day after WrestleMania. 2 years. That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, like, he'll never get back to that on the way that he's going now. I'm just sorry.
Yeah.
You know, and Bryan, he just keeps his. He's been out for fucking 10 months, and motherfuckers is just still going nuts over him. So, and I 10 months from now, let's just say Ziggler got hurt. It's not like they're going to be yelling, Daniel. I mean, we like Dolph Ziggler doing a fucking Divas match. I'm sorry.
Well, it'd be Let's Go Ziggler, but
yeah, or something, really dude.
They gave him a name where you can't really yell. I mean, you can yell Daniel Bryan or chant Daniel Bryan. You can't really chant Dolph Ziggler because it doesn't come off the tongue.
Yeah, so he breaks his arm. He's out for fucking six months. Again, during the Divas match or some like bum match, you know, you're gonna see CM Punk chant, you get a Daniel Bryan chant, but like,
well, yeah,
I don't see that happening for Ziggler. That's the point I'm saying. You know,
and I was gonna say the assholes that still go to wrestling shows to chant for CM Punk, they can get the hell out of here because the guy's been gone for a year.
Dude,
get over it.
2 days ago was his 2 days ago.
The 27th.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it came up, I posted a little meme that I made of him like with his arms up screaming, and then I put under like freedom, and it came up in my what do you call that, time hop that day, and I was like, holy shit, it's been a whole year. Wow, what did the time?
Yeah, I don't use time hop, but I've heard of it. So
yeah, but so basically, I where they go with these three guys, I hope they just disband them really soon. You're just gonna.
I have a fear of where they could go, but I hope it doesn't go that way because I could easily see them getting put into a 6-man match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because, like we talked about a while ago, when they disbanded the Shield, now they always have a random 6-man match either on a Raw, a Smackdown, or a pay-per-view. So I could easily see them putting those 3 guys in a 6-man match against like J&J Security and like Kane at WrestleMania.
Or we just find ourselves with a new day on our hands. But
yeah,
just get them away from each other real quick. So
exactly.
And throughout the move forward, throughout SmackDown, you had Kane doing like a casket sort of vignette, and the first one he's talking, and it's just, you know, it's classic Kane vignette, him saying like these really big morbid words with his eyes closed. I just thought it was funny. I thought it was super cheesy. I thought it was funny. And then after that you had which I thought was the Usos versus Cesaro and Kid. They always do that. They never make it clear whenever the Usos come out whether they're going to be a tag team match or a fucking singles match. They never do.
Can you tell those guys apart?
No, not really.
I can't either, unless The only way I know who they are is if they're in singles matches and they're referenced by commentary. There's a way to tell them apart with like their tattoos are different.
Well, one has ink on one side of the face, and
but I can't remember which one it is.
They are identical. They're definitely identical.
It's like I can tell the Bellas apart because that's really easy because there's two reasons why.
Well, they both have.
They catch my drift.
Yeah, but they both have like different bone structure in their face is different. It's just a little off.
Oh yeah, I know that. But like prior to Nikki getting her implants, it's like, oh, I didn't care. I didn't realize who was in the ring. I mean, I still don't care because a Bella's a Bella. They both suck.
But I've always known the difference. Bree's Bella's face is slimmer.
Yeah. But like, if I were to see the back of their heads, I wouldn't be able to tell.
Well, if I'm looking at the back of them, the last thing I'm staring at is their head.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it ends up being Jey Uso versus Tyson Kidd, and as much as I dog Tyson Kidd, and Jake's a fucking homer for Tyson Kidd. I always pick
Tyson Kidd is awesome.
Oh, whatever. I don't need another Jake.
I've always liked the guy. And he doesn't get enough credit. I want the guy to succeed based on who he is and how they brought him in, because they advertise him as being the last graduate of the Hart Dungeon, so I want that guy to succeed.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't need another Jake. This is, again, you keep your love for Tyson Kidd to yourself.
I have my own opinions.
All right. I'm just saying, I don't...
My opinions might coincide with what Jake thinks, but I just think the guy's great.
Homers, both of you homers.
I would like him to at least get an intercontinental title reign or a U.S. title reign.
Yes, please give him that belt so he could get buried. So check this out. Let me put him over, like reluctantly put over Kidd. Okay, please let me do this. All right, let me do this.
Okay.
As much as he's whatever to me, I can't take away that this guy does know how to tell a story in the ring. And during this match, Kidd's story that he was actually imposing in the ring from the jump is that he was going to attack the leg. He cut off his leg, basically, from his knee to his Achilles to his foot. And he basically wins with that sweep, his legs, this sort of neck swing. What is the fucking name of that thing called?
The three-legged cross-handled family credenzel. That's what it's called. Swear to God. I wrote that on Twitter one day when he did it. Someone tweeted me back and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Chris Jericho was the one that coined it, that move, or the name, but it's three-legged because you're standing on three legs. One guy, or the guy taking the move, has one leg up in the air. Cross-handled because your hands are clasped together at a cross. And then I don't know where the last part of it comes from.
Gradendal?
Family Gredenzel. But it's weird. So, but yeah,
because
that's where the origin of the
maybe it is something that's part of the Hart family. It's like something that maybe most Hart used, because they're Canadian.
I don't know that because I've never seen a Hart use that move.
Oh, well. Well, moving on. I don't want to talk about Kidd as much as I have to, but he won that match, and to me, like,
fact,
he did it. Like, I was like, wow, he really put on a really good show. In that ring right then. He told a story. He showed what he was going after. He put over what he did the entire match in his finisher. And
he knows. He was trained by the best. He knows how to tell a story. Bret Hart had a hand in his training. Bret Hart knows his stuff. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Stu Hart obviously had a hand in it. He knows what he's doing. So you can't fault the guy for... like the guy or not, you have to at least give him some credit for being a good wrestler.
And that's all I will ever do. So, next segment.
Fair enough.
And the Usos, whatever, man. They've been looking off for the past couple of matches they've been in. Their Royal Rumble match was very
have a hard
bad.
time taking them seriously.
I think
because like whenever they win the tag titles, I'm like, oh, what now?
But they look sluggish in the ring. They looking real sluggish as of late. And Naomi, I will one day lure you away from Jimmy.
Yeah, she's hot.
Oh God, I can't get enough. That outfit she had on. So they
the black and the yellow. Yep.
So they do a replay of Rusev's elimination and in the Royal Rumble, leading to his in-ring promo, and that's what I was talking about earlier about the edit job they did on Roman Reigns' crowd heat. And they had Michael Cole, they had basically the sound in the ring, but they didn't have any crowd noise whatsoever. And I was like, dude, that's genius. Whoever the fuck did that video, the audio for that dude should be working in Dr. Dre's studio mastering his music or what have you. He should be working on the Dre Beats technology. Like this guy, whoever the fuck this guy is, give that guy a Slammy for the best audio editing job ever done to man. So they lead to Rusev and Lana, and they're basically bitching about how they felt like they should have won. They're talking in Russian. They're trying to get over as the Russian heels, blah, 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 blah. They dog Cena about what happened afterwards. And he uses the word of the past, that Cena is from the past, right? They're drilling this in our heads, okay?
Yeah.
They're fucking with us subliminal. And,
well, he's 38 now, so it makes sense.
Yeah, well, I'm 37, so what am I of the past?
No, I'm just saying, like, wrestling-wise, he's 37, 38, so he would be considered, like...
Damn it, Newman, admit it. You just called me the past.
No, I was referring to specifically wrestlers in general, not people.
This is the last podcast with us, you know this, right? So Cena comes in, and I will admit, as he's in the ring, and there's this one shot of his face. Now I've already heard Triple H call him the past, and now I just heard Rusev, so it's fresh in my head that he's like this guy, this older wrestler now. He's an older wrestler. And there's this one shot of his face when he's talking. And I go, man, this guy looks old.
Well, and this is the second year in a row where he will not be in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah. And all the subliminals are working in. And I go like, this guy does look like he's had his time.
He's just now transitioning into a gatekeeper role, meaning that he's still going to be there, but he won't be in the main events. He's just there to draw the audience into the crowd or into the shows.
Yeah.
Because if even someone who doesn't know what wrestling is, they know who John Cena is.
Well, they're going to always know who John Cena is. I mean, John Cena is the staple. I'm surprised. Like, you know what? Let's just say they had like in the NBA, it's Jerry West, who's like the NBA emblem. Right?
Sure.
Like, I'm trying to think of, maybe it was Cheap Heat, and they were talking about if the WWE actually had, like, an emblem, who would that emblem be? Would it be The Rock standing with his arm in the air? Would it be Stone Cold Steve Austin? You know?
It should be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You know, would it be Hulk Hogan pointing? Would it be Bruno Sammartino, or Andre the Giant with his hands on his hips? Or would it be John Cena with his hands up, holding up the OK sign? And I go,
I think it would be Steve Austin because he broke every single record.
You would want it to be Steve Austin. You would want it to be Steve Austin.
No, I'm just saying, like, even if I wasn't a fan of his, I would think it would be Steve Austin because he shattered every record in front of him, whereas Cena hasn't broken. He's broken some of Steve Austin's records, but he hasn't come close to some of the stuff that Steve Austin even did.
But at the same time, he's had the longest reign on top of any wrestler of all time.
That's the truth.
And more, and we're talking like, what, it was only 3 years that Stone Cold was at top. It was
from 14 to he last won the belt at WrestleMania 17. But I'd say from WrestleMania 14 to when his last match happened with The Rock at 19, so 5 years, give or take.
5 years, give or take. Hulk Hogan, how many? 4 years on top?
He main evented WrestleManias 1 through 8. So...
No, he didn't. No. Someday he wasn't in, though, right?
No, he was in all of them.
Okay.
WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3.
So let's just say 8 years.
WrestleMania 1, he was in a tag match in the main event. WrestleMania 2, he was in a cage match in the main event. WrestleMania 3 was Andre. WrestleMania 4, actually, that he didn't main event WrestleMania 4, so that one's out. 5, he main evented against Savage. 6, Warrior. 7, Sid. Or no.
Well, regardless, you don't have to run the gauntlet. I'm just saying, like...
7 was Slaughter, 8 was Sid. Okay.
So let's just say 8 years. Cena's been on top for like 11 years. Like, damn near. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so...
Okay, yeah, you're right.
So if you were to identify with, say, not the world of wrestling, but just the company, the WWE, and if they had an emblem, I would honestly believe that it would be something of John Cena. Like, that's how much of a staple he still is. Even now that they're trying to phase him out, they're trying to subliminally, like, get in our head that he is of the past, and all of these things. He's still like a really great draw. It'd be hard for me to sort of disconnect myself from the idea that Cena is this dude, sort of, like, I can't focus on him anymore.
Yeah.
And it hit me when he was doing his promo and he was talking. There was this moment. I go, man. Yeah, again, it just fucked with me for a hot second. I go, man, this guy looks old. Like, he does look like, and he even mentioned, maybe I'm getting older or something like that, but I still kick your ass, And I just go, wow. I would have never thought I would look at John Cena like I look at Chris Jericho right now.
He's not Cool Dad Kane status, but he's getting up there.
He's about to actually get over right now, man. And I'm not just saying, and I'm not just saying because Roman Reigns is moving to the top or anything like this. I think as he's going to move down the card, I think he's going to become more of a nostalgia act for us marks, and we're going to actually appreciate his contributions in a minute, where when he gets in and he's going to be like that, the guy that we are most familiar with during our fanship over the years, we're going to start to really appreciate that guy. I think in the next 2 years, we're not going to get those Cena sucks chants anymore. He's actually going to get big pops. And I
think the fans will always do that out of respect for John Cena.
Almost like Kurt Angle and you suck.
I think he's obviously embraced the "Let's go Cena sucks" chants. I mean, he loves that stuff. So I think if he were to retire and then come back every once in a while, like an ambassador, because he's going to have something to do with the company until the day he dies.
Oh yeah, of course.
And there's just no way around it.
They would hand the company to him rather than Triple H.
Yeah.
I bet in the wheel it has. When I die, give this motherfucker to John Cena.
When he comes back every so often after he's done, I could see people easily chanting "Let's go Cena sucks" out of tribute to him, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind that at all.
You make a good point, because it reminds me when Kurt Angle came back and his music in the "You suck," he goes, "Man, I've missed that so much." But moving forward, Cena cuts. I write it down. I go, man, Cena cuts one hell of a promo. And you said differently. You didn't like the promo?
I thought the promo was good, but he made some comment about Rusev's nuts and Lana and
being a hoe.
I just don't like it when he gets cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't. Okay, do it every once in a while, but if you do it all the time, then it seems like he's going out of his way to make guys look like garbage.
Take basically the time what pit. God, I've jumbled up my words, but the one time that was probably the most present, what you speak of, was when he was faced off with Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt,
yeah,
that's
and that was
one example.
Yeah, well, it's the best example.
Yeah,
and
he made Bray Wyatt look like a joke. And
it was so bad that they actually went in. Like that one week, he's talking about how he looks like some dude in Vegas, right? Like he makes this kind of comment, and then the next week he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so terrified of mind games." He's in the bathroom looking at himself and questioning himself. You know, it was like, damn, you went from hot to cold real quick, didn't you, there, Cena? Like, you know, like
yeah, because they realized after that they had to do damage control.
Yeah, but I just, you know, it's what it was.
And that's the problem. Like, I don't know if that was written for Cena, because some of the stuff I know he's got creative control, but I don't know what kind of creative control he does have. I know he ad-libs his own promos, but he has to run them by somebody before he does it.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine him saying this stuff without somebody having some sort of stamp of approval on it.
Or not.
Because otherwise he wouldn't be on our TV screens doing it every week.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't ran anyone down recently. I think that was the last time he actually ran someone down.
Yeah, that's the last time he like visibly ran somebody down to the point where it's like, okay, you're burying this guy.
yeah.
And I mean, I hate to use the term burying, because when wrestling fans talk about burying, they use it out of context.
Yeah, and I'm like,
burying something means you're putting it out of existence.
Yeah.
To where, like, if someone says, "Oh, they're burying Daniel Bryan because he's not in the main event for WrestleMania this year," he's not being buried because you're still seeing him.
Yeah, he's on TV. Like, Ziggler's getting buried.
Underutilized.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He's not being buried.
Yeah, no one's being buried. As long as you're on TV, you're buried.
Yeah,
you cashing checks.
In Cena's case, when he said that about the Wyatts, I immediately said, "Oh, you just buried Wyatt verbally." But that's verbally. It's not like you're not taking a shovel and digging a grave and having him jump in it and then pouring dirt on him.
Yeah, it makes everyone in the area, whether you're watching on TV or at the arena, you're rolling your eyes, and you don't want to roll your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You don't want people to not care, and you don't want people to roll their eyes. That's all. And
exactly.
I didn't get that impression. I didn't get that run down impression for Rusev, because I think it looked more like Cena was trying to legitimize himself. Like he was trying to remind himself that he still was the top dog, that he still had it in him, and that's what it seemed like more. It's like it was like a moment of desperation to make that to say whatever in his promo he said about those people. And you know what? They looked unfazed by it, and that's why I didn't get the notion that he was running them down. They looked so unfazed by it.
Yeah.
You know, and like he's like, "Oh, well, I'll fight you now," and they just go, "We got bigger fish to fry." And they walked out, and he was left in there looking like he was left in there looking like a chump.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was very interesting, like the dynamic of what this Cena is now, and how he's of the past, and I think there's going to be a storyline to his legitimacy going into WrestleMania. Like, do I still have it? It's leaving. I haven't won any big matches recently and things of that nature. And maybe they're turning it around where it looks like he's on the way out, and then next thing you know, he's back on top. But maybe he doesn't end up back on top. Maybe they do phase him out to just a mid-card draw. But we will only see.
I think he's got one more title reign left in him. He's at 15 title reigns. I think they're going to have him tie Ric Flair.
Would it be at the expense of Roman Reigns?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think you're talking about like if after WrestleMania Roman Reigns were to lose to John Cena.
Say later down okay, I already see the title on Roman Reigns. All right, that's just a given, right? Okay, so one of the last, at some point, the future is going to meet the past. I mean, they're going to have to go head to head. They're going to have to.
Well, and that would be a way to really give Roman Reigns the rub, saying, "Okay, he's the next guy."
Yes.
He indeed is the next guy.
Because
it would be like a torch passing moment.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It's going to be an inevitable thing. So let's just say Cena, because I'm not even going to talk about the turning heel thing. I'm just saying, like, you get two guys in the ring and they're going to be out there competing, and they're going to give them 3 matches. They're going to do one match where Cena. Well, they're going to do one match where it's going to be a no contest. They could do another match where Cena actually wins the belt from Roman Reigns. And then they're going to meet at WrestleMania, and that's going to be the rubber match where basically the torch will be passed. That's why And I
think that would be way down the line, because I don't even have... I mean, Roman Reigns, I think, will win the title at WrestleMania. But he's not going to come out of WrestleMania as the champion.
Okay, but I mean,
and that's.
But I'm talking way down the line, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I ain't talking.
But I'm talking more future, whereas because I could easily see. There's got to be a reason why Seth Rollins still has that briefcase.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I understand that, but I mean, that's very near. But I'm just saying, like, that it's going to be inevitable that Cena and Roman Reigns are going to have to face. And that's why I'm saying. And that's why I'm saying, well, that last title run Cena has, will it be at the expense of Roman Reigns? Will it be at the expense?
I don't know. I see where you're coming from, but I don't necessarily think he would have to win the title to be able to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
So you're saying that he would have to either win the belt from, say, a Rusev, or say a Seth Rollins, or say a Randy Orton, heaven forbid, or
You're talking Cena, or you're talking Reigns?
I'm talking Cena. That last run you're talking about, who is he gonna get it from?
I don't think he's gonna get it.
Oh.
See, that's the thing. Like, I want him to get it because I just want the internet to go nuts. Because it would be 16 and people would lose their minds. But realistically, I don't think he's going to get it.
Okay.
I think Flair is at 16 title reigns. Well, he's won the title like 25 times. Mm-hmm. But they won't tell you that because some of the titles were like regional belts. But I think he's got too much respect for Ric Flair to want to break his record.
Man, fuck that. That's like saying Tiger Woods he's losing now because he has respect for Jack Nicholson. Oh fuck, I always get his name. Jack Nicholson. Nicholas?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholas. Like he's losing because he has respect for Jack Nicholas. Like, no, that's not the case. Just like what Chris Jericho says in an interview with I think it's with Cheap Heat, and he's talking about, I'm sick of getting this like this honorary congratulations because I'm putting over young talent. It's like, I'm not putting over young talent. If it's up to me, I'm booked to lose. I'm booked to lose. Like, if it's up to me, I'll win every match. Right? And I feel that about Cena. I think Cena, if he's given the opportunity to have that belt 17 more times, he's going to take it. Why not? That's money in his pocket. That's a lot of money in his pocket. That's more cars to buy and more toys to play with, more toys for Nikki Bella to play with, like that's just going to be a given. But that's for a later discussion that we will probably have. Let's try to run through. Let's try to do like a quick rundown of the rest of the show. All right.
Okay.
So we have Paige backstage with the smoking Renee Young. She did her hair differently again, and it just looks so. Renee Young just gets hotter and hotter. I'm telling you. I
agree.
And
not a fan of her commentary, but she's good on the looks department.
After we finish with this rundown, I speaking of commentary, I need your opinion on something.
Okay.
So Paige is backstage with Renee Young. The Bellas basically interrupt, and they go into their classic bully. When I saw this, the first thing that popped in my head was how they ran down Karma and called her fat. So they're sitting here picking on Paige about how pasty she is, basically giving her the treatment that the commentators gave Sheamus. And I go, what the fuck are they doing? Be a star? What? What's going on?
Yeah, and this is the only way they know how to book their divas. They don't know how to book them in intelligent storylines. Because in order to be a diva in WWE, you either have to be crazy, have lesbian tendencies, or there's another one. But it's like...
Be mean?
Yeah, there's not... That's probably the third one, but there's not too much to character development as far as the Divas division goes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like, if I'm watching a pay-per-view and there's a Divas match on, I immediately go to the bathroom.
I watch
Unless
it.
Natalia's in it.
I watch it. I wait to be surprised.
Otherwise, I don't care.
I wait to be surprised. But, again, the Divas right now are no more than Total Divas. That's the thing now. Like, the Divas are a television show. Like, they're not in-ring performers anymore. They're actual reality television stars. And
I'm glad that rumor of Total Divas stars not being able to win the Divas title got debunked.
Yes, it got debunked like hell. I mean, I had to put my foot in my mouth to the idea that I thought that Nikki Bella would not win the belt, from AJ because of that very thing, and I had to put my foot in my mouth.
I had Nikki Bella winning the belt only because I believed that AJ was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And then she stuck around for a few months and then dropped it later.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I just thought it was I thought it was like, man, you're gonna bring back the Bellas of like 4 years ago. This is counterproductive.
They didn't even want to come back.
Yeah. But that was it was like counterproductive, I thought, for the progression of the Bellas as basically in-ring performers and personalities.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, we'll see what happens with this because I remember when Paige debuted, I fucking popped. I was like, because Paige showed up to win the belt after WrestleMania. When AJ took her break, and I was like, Paige, I fucking went nuts. And now when she shows up, and everybody has this weird little crush on her, I think she's pretty hot because I'm a fan of like pale skin. I like pale skin. But her appeal to me now is becoming more, again, rolling my eyes now. And what they're doing with her is not doing her any favors. I mean, maybe for her... For her bank account, yes.
Her specifically, but I roll my eyes because of how they're handling her.
Yeah. It's helping her bank account for all means, and it's helping her become a household name. But I really thought the anti-diva would be just that. An anti-diva.
But now she's not the anti-diva.
No, she's a total diva.
A diva.
No, she's a total diva.
Yeah, they killed that by putting her on that show.
Yeah, totally. And so we'll see what happens.
And the reason why that is because whenever somebody gets brought up from NXT, they can't bring them up from NXT as is. Vince always has to repackage them and make them their own, which I think is stupid. But
a side note, and I don't mean to jump back, but I just something that popped in my head. I thought I was going to get out by the time we got to this point, but something that caught my attention is the Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, and Natalya. I think there's going to be like a bit of a love triangle between that.
I don't see that happening at all.
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. We're going to move forward right now. The way that it looked.
Knowing who Cesaro is apparently dating, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I'm talking not like not breaking kayfabe.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's just not realistic to me. I mean, they already play up the fact that Total Divas has something to do with Natalya and Tyson having fake marriage problems, but I don't think it should go into that much detail.
But we haven't had like adultery themed feud for quite some time. And
but we're also in a PG era since
I know, but like here's the thing, about the whole Miz Naomi thing, right? And how that just got debunked.
Yeah.
Because they were actually going to do an adultery storyline, and Naomi and Jimmy said, no, we're not going to do it.
Naomi wanted to do it.
Naomi wanted to do it? I thought Naomi didn't want to do it.
No, she wanted to do it. But Jay, or which one is she married to?
Jimmy.
Okay, Jimmy said no.
Yes, okay.
He put the kibosh on it. Because that was on an earlier episode of Total Divas, where they had talked to her about it. And they had ran it by her, and then she ran it by Jimmy, and he absolutely said no.
Okay.
And he went to Mark Carrano and said, you're not going to have my wife do this.
Okay.
So, and then she got pissed at Jimmy for not letting her do it.
It would have gave both of them character development and storyline. You know, they would have gotten like significant amount of time with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have actually helped both of them, because the Usos, and we'll move forward, but the Usos, they're just a bunch of Samoans jumping around, honestly. And Naomi, now that she's not on Total Divas anymore, and the Funkadactyls being split up, what is she left with now? Nothing. She's just basically...
They need to give her the Divas title.
They needed to get...
They should have done it a long time ago. She's way too talented to not have
she's
the belt.
So hot. She's so hot.
Probably the best. Looks aside, yes, she is. But looks aside, from a wrestling standpoint,
yeah, she makes it look easy.
She's probably the second best, or the second most talented diva they have.
Because she makes it so easy with her athleticism, very much like a female version of a Dolph Ziggler. Like, he makes it look like anyone can just get in there and do it, you know?
Exactly.
It's just with ease. Or Harper. He makes it look so easy. And Naomi, when she's in the ring, she's just ahead of everyone, and it's almost as if she has to basically slow down or bring down her athleticism just to sort of even it out in the ring with everyone else.
That's what I've noticed too. She has to slow down because she's like miles ahead of everybody else.
Miles ahead. Even
that's not named Natalia.
Yeah, basically.
I'd say Natalia is probably at her level, but like even Ariane, they've been wrestling forever, Cameron. They've been wrestling forever. They've had countless matches on Superstars. It always seems like Naomi has to slow down and go at Cameron's level because Cameron sucks.
Yeah.
And can't do anything.
Well, she
and that's when that's the only time that I don't like a Naomi match, is when she's paired with Cameron, because Cameron is garbage.
Yeah, I appreciate Cameron for what she is, but I feel like they're sort of dual booking her as another Alicia Fox, which I think is like, we don't need two Alicia Foxes. That's the point. But Alicia Fox, to me, in terms of athleticism, she's up there. Like, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's really good too.
But Naomi, I just go, yeah, whatever. We'll move forward. I just thought I'd bring that in there. You say it's not going to happen. I say it is going to happen. Just like I'm still waiting for the Triple H Lana thing. I'm waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it. Up next is the Dust Brothers versus the Ascension. And what this story that's happening now is that they're finally setting up the WrestleMania match between
Cody and Goldust.
Yes, this is basically what this is.
And this then Stardust can go away because I hate him.
I love Stardust.
I like Cody Rhodes. I can't stand the Stardust gimmick.
I love it.
I respect the fact that he's able to change his entire moveset to be able to adapt to the new character and completely reinvent himself, but the promos and the paint and stuff like that are just, it's too over the top for me.
I didn't mention that this was going to be our last one, right? So, so basically, you see, just right out of the gate, you just see, because we haven't had this happen. You know, I think at one point you thought that was going to happen, then he became Stardust, and now
it should have happened. But in my opinion, they've been lobbying for this match for
5 years.
WrestleMania 28.
Yeah.
Or maybe since even WrestleMania 27.
Yeah, since about 5 years.
I'm glad it's going to happen now, but it's like, why 4 years too late?
I don't know. And now to like, we're not patient enough. The booking is telling us that we're not patient enough to see more dissension, like a gradual dissension. It was all in one. Like by Monday, they should just be like beating each other up, right? Like that's basically what's gonna happen. Like, Stardust is going to take off the fucking paint. I'm like, I'm sick of doing this stupid gimmick. This is going to happen Monday. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Let it. There's time. They're going to have a match at Fastlane, and then they're going to have a match at fucking WrestleMania, and then that's going to be it.
I think Goldust will probably go over in their Fastlane match, and then Cody will go over at Mania, and then
nothing will come of none of it.
What?
And nothing will come of it. It'd be like, okay, it's done. See ya, Dust Brothers. Like,
well, Goldust that's going to rumored to be Goldust's last match.
I don't know why the guy looks like he could go for another 100 years. He's better now than he was 20 years ago.
From what I've heard, he wants to, or from what I've read, because I didn't hear anything, I read it, but he wants to have or get retired by Cody and then transition to an agent role in the backstage area. So he'll still be around. And I know he's one of your favorite wrestlers.
Yes, he's the greatest.
So I understand why, and I think he's great too. I mean, he's a phenomenal worker, and it's amazing that he's 50 years old and he's still working like he was a 30-year-old.
Yeah, he works better than he did when he was fucking 25.
Exactly. So I don't want to necessarily see him go away. I'm not saying, oh, get out of here, you're old, whatever, because to me, he doesn't. I mean, I see Kane, I see Big Show. They're old. They could go away, and I wouldn't miss them. But if Goldust were to go away, I would miss him because he's such a good worker.
He needs the Jericho RVD contract. He needs that.
And I would be perfectly fine with him coming in every 3 months, doing stuff with younger guys, putting them over, and then going away for a while until he comes back. And in fact, they could easily do it because he could do like a dual role with being an agent backstage if that's what he's going to do, and being a temporary worker like Jericho and RVD.
Well, we'll see, because this wasn't about the Ascension. This was all about the Dust Brothers. And that's sad for the Ascension. That's so sad. That's so sad.
Connor O'Brien sucks.
What did he say? I think his stick is gonna be like that one thing he says that's the uberly corny, like born to bred to rip and shred, right? Yep. Which is, oh my god, that's the greatest thing ever.
He'll be like.
But what did he say in the box? Do you remember what he said in the box when they were doing their promo in the box?
What do you mean in the box? Like during the match. Or during a match, there was a box that popped up. No, I try to focus on the wrestling and not listen to the promos.
Dude, I love it. I love it. He says so. I couldn't even make out what he says because he says it so aggressively. But he just points and just yells something like a one-liner, and I just like, I didn't even know what he said. I thought it was great because it's just so bad that it's good.
Well, it's like Rusev. His mic skills are terrible, but they're great because they're so terrible.
They're so terrible, and that's what's so great about it. And that's Connor's about to get over with those one-liners. We're gonna all sit back and wait for what cheesy fucking one-liners coming out of his mouth, because
he'll be the Hawk he'll be the Hawk of the Ascension.
Yes,
like, this Legion of Doom.
I'm telling you,
Animal did all the promo work, and then Hawk did talk. But the most of what he said was, "Oh, what a rush!" Yeah, and like, I'm gonna be sitting back. Wait, I need to sit down and just write all the cheesy one-liners that he does. Like, that's gonna be his thing. I'm gonna write them all down, because they start with born and bred to rip and shred. That needs to go on like some sort of plaque. Like, that is the greatest one-liner of all time. I would make that my display name on Twitter, but it's too long.
Born and bred to rip and shred. But okay, so we get to why I like The Miz, him getting egg on his face.
I thought that was funny.
But this is the cheesy factor, and I bet people are like, oh my god, what a waste. Only they do a whole egg thing with this wizard dude. I don't even know who the fuck he is. I guess he has a show on Sci-Fi. That's
I don't know. I had no idea who he was either.
Yeah, I was just like some wizard. But then it was like I wrote it down.
If he has a show on Sci-Fi, I don't watch Sci-Fi. The only thing I watch on Sci-Fi is Smackdown.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of those shows, those stations, their biggest draw is the wrestling. So,
it's wrestling and it's Haven.
Yeah,
but other than that, no one cares about that network.
So they do this whole, and I wrote down some wizard very like snarkily, but then he calls himself a wizard in the spot. I was like, oh god, okay then, he's a wizard. And Miz and Miz Dow show up. They do this whole egg spot for the payoff.
Yeah.
The payoff is basically the egg. This is Vince McMahon like gunk humor. He ends up with egg on his face, only for R-Truth. It's so corny. I love it. The yolk's on you.
Yep.
We're in that there, okay? Because all I'm gonna do is just extend the praises of this entire thing. All right? Because that's my kind of shit. Bray Wyatt does a vid. He does a vignette, and the only thing I wanted to point out, because it's just your basic Bray Wyatt promo where it kind of goes in circles. He just says certain things. The one line that stands out to me, and this is this is the dirt sheets. This is the Dave Meltzer talk of the booking for Bray Wyatt towards WrestleMania. Last year it was John Cena. We were like, no, and then all of a sudden John Cena versus Bray Wyatt in WrestleMania. There's been talk of Bray Wyatt facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And this is why they've been building him up so strongly, especially in and all this stuff. The victories over Ambrose, him throwing out Daniel Bryan, him going so long in the Royal Rumble. In this vignette, whatever. What are these? I call them vignettes. What are these things called? Packages. Okay, package. Oh Jesus. Okay. The last thing I need to be
industry, so yeah.
Yeah, last thing I need to be talking about is some wrestler's package. He says one line in there that really caught my attention, and I think that is like the key phrase of him moving forward is, "I feel nothing living or dead."
Yeah.
And I go, yep. And I write down.
And I think they're going.
I rub my chin. Where is he going with this?
They're going that route.
Yeah.
But, and I hate to say this, I never thought I would, but I love the Undertaker. He doesn't need to come back. Stay away. You've done more than you've ever needed to do. And because it's like WrestleMania, he had the streak. The streak's been broken. He's got nothing left. So why should I care about a post-streak Undertaker?
Yeah, that's
It's like the mystique and the intrigue is gone. I mean, yeah, it'll be a good match. The promos will be great, but it's like.
Well, the only thing is to get. Yeah, the only thing I think is the job. He's going to do the job to make Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt needs to be. I mean, the reception.
I don't think that needs to happen.
I know. Like I feel you. And I grit.
But here's another thing, though, too.
I grit my teeth.
Do you think the win is going to mean as much? If Bray beats Undertaker, do you think the win is going to mean as much had the streak been still intact from last year? Meaning if the Undertaker had beaten Brock Lesnar. Because if Undertaker was going to come back, then why did Vince McMahon make the decision 4 hours before WrestleMania 30 went on the air to have Brock break the streak?
Well, how about this? It wasn't something that was taken lightly. All right? And I go in going, okay, I know the whole like shtick of them changing scripts and doing things at the last second, but this was something they've probably been resting on.
Yeah.
The decision had to happen, but I still.
The decision finally came down, I think, 4 hours before the show. But I don't think it was a rash decision. I just think they were
I still think
juggling with making that decision until 4 hours before the show, and I think that's where the rumors come in.
Yeah, and at the same time, I still don't think. I think in Vince McMahon's head, he still hasn't made that decision. You know, it's something happened, but in his head, I think there's this thing where it's that moment he never wants to face, and I think he still hasn't really faced it yet. He knows that he's post the decision, but I think he's still, because even in the interview with Stone Cold, it seems like he wanted to really write off that part of the conversation really quickly. You know, like he didn't really want to go into it. He just wanted to sort of, when Stone Cold asked, he answered the question, and then he wanted to really move on from it. Because it's still something,
especially in the CM Punk part of it.
Yeah,
when I started talking about that.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. And I just like my whole thing about Daniel Bryan not needing to win the Royal Rumble, I feel the same way about you. Undertaker doesn't need to come back, but if he does come back, I'm going to milk it for what it's worth, because I do want my Undertaker fix.
So will I, but it's like they're really going to have to do a lot of work to make that storyline mean something.
Yeah.
That's my main gripe with it, because, like I said, Undertaker, you barely had to do anything with the Undertaker to have him. He could show up a week before Mania, have a stare down with somebody, and then they could point to the WrestleMania sign.
A la Triple H.
All of Triple H back in before WrestleMania 27, and then they did it again going into WrestleMania 28. But that's literally all you had to do to build a storyline with The Undertaker for a match at Mania. And now they're going to have to do a lot more work, and they've got...
Well, what's going to happen in the pairing of this is like one Dark Force versus another Dark Force.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I hope for how dimensional, like deep the Undertaker is, and how deep Bray Wyatt is. I hope they just don't say, oh yeah, here's one Dark Force versus another Dark Force, but this Dark Force is Dark Force of good, and this Dark Force is Dark Force of evil. Who's gonna out-dark each other? You know? You know, and that's what I fear will happen. This like, who's darker is better.
Yeah.
You know, like fuck that. So
okay, here's another question I have for you, and it raises a good point. Undertaker, we saw this last year, and there was reports of a concussion. He needs, but even without, had the concussion not happen in his match with Lesnar, he needs somebody to be able to direct him in a match. Because I've heard that I've read that his matches in the last couple years prior to Mania have been rehearsed weeks in advance, so they know everything that's going to happen. But do you think that Bray Wyatt, because I think he's like 26, 27 years old, he's a young guy, do you think he'll be able to carry The Undertaker to a passable match?
I'll say this, and then we'll move on to the final part of this thing. You have to trust his pedigree.
Yep.
That's it. You have to trust his pedigree. Randy Orton, who else is I think Randy Orton would be
third generation star.
Yeah, you have
The Rock.
Well, someone's still on the roster, like an active member on the roster right now.
Randy Orton's probably the only one. Curtis Axel, but he's not doing anything.
Yeah, but let's just say if Curtis Axel was in that, like, push to a certain degree, what seemed believable, him facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Absolutely not.
No, I'm just saying, let's imagine, let's just imagine that Curtis Axel's career right now was completely different.
Yeah.
We would have to trust his pedigree.
That's true.
That's it. I think that's what he grew up around. His dad was a wrestler. He grew up in a wrestling ring. His DNA is composed of Mike Rotunda, who probably has the most heat from as a kid. He was the guy that I hated the most as a kid, and then the $1 Million Man was the next one. But Mike Rotunda, the Varsity Club, you talk about heat. I've never given anyone any amount of heat that I've given Mike Rotunda. As a kid, like I laugh about it now because I know like I was getting jerked as a kid, but like if you wanted to see me get really upset as a kid, really give someone some heat, that person was Mike Rotunda. And
my favorite moment as watching wrestling as a kid was WrestleMania 9. It was Hogan and Brutus Beefcake taking on Money Inc. For the tag titles. And they didn't win the match. They won the match by disqualification via shenanigans. But then Money Inc. left the match, and Hogan and Beefcake found $1 Million Man's briefcase, it was IRS's briefcase. They opened it, and there was like a bunch of money in it, so they gave the money away to all the fans at ringside.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, but it's really funny because it's like, everyone to that point thought that the briefcase was just a gimmick.
Yeah, it's gimmick. No.
They found actual money in it, along with tax forms and a brick.
A brick.
So.
So the brick's inside. So when he actually hit someone, it seemed like it was stuffed. So yeah.
Halibart briefcase is totally gimmicked.
I think it probably wasn't even about the money as much as the brick being inside the fucking suitcase.
Exactly. Well, and the look on Hogan's face when he pulled that brick out was priceless.
Yeah, there's $1 billion and then there's this brick, and you grab the brick first. Like, what the fuck? That's the beauty of wrestling. But
exactly.
If I was to say my most heated moment of my life as a kid was when Scott Steiner turned on Rick Steiner. I remember crying because
in WCW.
Yeah, it was like. I think it was like a moment where Rick Steiner was getting fucked up by somebody. Scott Steiner came in for the save. They clean house. They do the Steiner stance where Rick Steiner does the crawl.
Rick Steiner's down, and then
he crawls between his legs.
Scott Steiner's over, and then he
sat on him.
Clubbed him in the back.
No, he sat on him.
Oh, okay.
He because it was like the Steiner stance was basically Rick Steiner on all fours in between the legs of Scott Steiner as he stood over him.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if Scott straight clubbed him in the back or if he sat on him.
He first sat on him. He sat on him.
Okay.
I started to cry because as a kid, I'm like, what, 10 years old?
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way in hell they ever booked this thing where brothers are going to go one-on-one each other. Like, they can't do that. They can't. That's like the one thing you can't do. In my head as a kid, I'm like, they're brothers. Why would he turn on his brother? And when he did it hurt me. It hurt me badly. And I cried. Yeah. And he just beat up on Rick Steiner. And I'm sitting there crying. I'm like, stop. Someone stop this. This shouldn't be happening. Like, brothers should not be fighting. And that's, like, I guess that's for me, the loyalty of family, like how important that is to me,
Yeah.
But I digress. We move forward. But to answer your question, I think we're going to have to trust the pedigree of and fighting spirit of Bray Wyatt to be able to pull off a directorial match with the Undertaker.
That makes sense.
All right.
I'll just say this, if he's successful in doing so, if he pulls out at least a 4-star match with the Undertaker,
that brass ring
made for the rest of his life.
That brass ring will come from the heavens.
Yep.
Actually, the ring will turn to brass.
Yeah.
The ring will turn to brass as soon as the match is done and 1, 2, 3's down. And
it could be a star-making performance.
Yeah.
Either way.
Like, literally, they should snatch whatever, if they could somehow do some computer-generated shit and just immediately just make the ring brass. And, he will be the one guy, oh my god, this brass, it's like the fucking Fountain of Youth or the Holy Grail, that it will be given to Bray Wyatt. So the last match, man, we're over 2 hours. Anyone still listening, thank you so much for listening. Kane versus Daniel Bryan in a casket match. We'll get through this quickly. What stood out to you in this match?
The fact that they were playing up the casket being so dangerous, and the fact that because they said that the casket match was one of the most dangerous matches in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the fact that they used the casket so much to where Daniel Bryan at certain points was in the casket.
Yeah.
And he had to fight his way out of it. And same with Kane. Like, Kane found himself in the casket a few times, or near it, where
Mm-hmm.
they would, like, there was one point where Daniel Bryan was trying to shove him in, and Kane was holding on to the lid for dear life, trying not to let himself go in. So I really like the fact that it wasn't just a match with a casket,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes, like, modern day casket matches have done that, where they just, it's just a match where a casket happens to be there. But this match, I thought, was really good, and they used all the elements well.
Because this could have been, no one was looking forward to this match, and I think everyone was just kind of waiting to see how corny it could actually be. And, and I think it met expectations to it. You know, what I said earlier, people don't like to give the Big Show and Kane credit for being still great in-ring performers and also enhancement guys. They do a great job. And this is one of Kane's best performances in years with a guy who's hurt, basically, still. What stood out to me, it was two things that stood out. Jerry the King Lawler. And he was great. He was calling the match, and he was also selling the casket. And he was doing it in a classic King style. Like, he's like, oh, what is the casket? It's so cold. And he's playing on his own health issues and the fact that he's met death a couple of times. You know, he's like in the waiting room of the fucking Grim Reaper's office. You know, like
purgatory.
Yeah, he's like in the waiting room. You know, and he's playing it up, and it's almost like the way he's performing, doing play-by-play and selling the casket, is almost as if Gorilla Monsoon is sitting beside him. And I found myself laughing so much. He did a great job with his character, because we thought that kind of King was dead and gone. No pun intended.
Because there's points when he's on commentary and he just doesn't care, but he reminded me why I like him during that match, because he called it straight up, and he was great. And
he was a character. Like, the way he was like, oh, the casket is so cold. Can you imagine? Like, it's so dangerous. I don't want to be in the casket. I don't want to be in the casket.
It was like flashing back to 1995 for me.
It was great. I enjoyed it. And another thing happened where I think Cole ended up calling the match. He was calling the match, and something was said was like, well, this is no disqualification. You know, you win by submission or count out. No disqualification, no count out. No pinfall, no submissions, no count outs. And I go, oh, this is a no DQ match. Why hasn't anyone grabbed a chair or something? You know, it hit me. I was like, what?
Because WWE, when they do that, they book matches to make you forget about the stipulation.
Yeah,
so when you get entrenched in the actual match, you don't think about that stuff.
And then Kane goes for the chair, and I'm like, yeah, about time that someone grabbed the chair, knowing that the stipulation is no DQ. I mean, why hasn't someone
watching it at 2 a.m, my tired brain, after the chair shot, I was like, oh, that's a DQ. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. No, it's not, because it's a casket match.
No, but it was almost as soon as he said it. It was maybe like a good minute after, 45 seconds after he said it, that's when he grabbed the chair. And I just go, oh, there you go. And I wrote it down specifically. Kane uses the chair in heel fashion. You know, like, yeah, this is what a heel does. He cheats. Well, he's not cheating here, but it's not like if Daniel Bryan would have grabbed that fucking chair first, it would have been a problem. That's all I'm saying. And basically, and Bryan wins with the I guess the name of the move is the knee that won him the championship or some shit like that.
The Busaku knee.
Yeah, but it was called the knee that won him the championship after the match with Cena. That's what that knee was called from there on out. I don't know if it was something that WWE pegged or something that we did in social media, but I just think it's a great title for that move.
I think that was their doing, but that's a long freaking name for a move.
Longer than the fucking family present. What the fuck the hell you just said?
Three-legged, cross-handled family credental.
Okay, all right. All right, I like you, kid.
Fair enough.
So yeah, and that conclude. He wins the match, and the casket's closed. One other thing that I was just sitting back waiting for was the Undertaker to actually pop up out of the casket. I was waiting for that the entire match.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you were doing it.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh really? Okay. I was just waiting for the Undertaker to pop up.
That didn't enter my brain at any point during the match.
It did. It did for me, and I was just like, okay. When is this gonna happen? Okay, and I was thinking maybe when he closed the casket on Kane, it reopens and the Undertaker's in it. I was just waiting for that to happen. It never happened. And I was pretty disappointed because it is the road to WrestleMania, and at some point he needs to show up, and I felt like that was like the opportunity, being it was a casket match.
When I watch wrestling, I try not to think of what could happen. I mean, I do, but I don't I try not to do it too much to where it's going to take away from my enjoyment of what's going on currently inside of the match. Because if I keep thinking of what if this happens or what if that happens, then I'm just making up scenarios in my head, and I'm not really enjoying the match as it's going on right in front of me.
Okay. So, and one more thing that I wanted to ask you is Brian Saxton. That's his name?
Yep.
Byron Saxton. Is he supposed to be a heel commentator or a face commentator? And not necessarily a face commentator, but is he the JBL, the agitator of that unit?
You're talking to NXT?
Well, he was on SmackDown. He's added on to SmackDown.
I think he's supposed to be the heel commentator for SmackDown. But if you watch, like when Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton were on NXT together, they pretty much, there was no heel commentator. They just called it straight up and then played it off of each other. And the reason why they took Byron Saxton off of NXT was because Byron Saxton and Tom Phillips sound exactly alike.
Yeah.
So you couldn't I even had a hard time differentiating their voices. But yeah, I believe on SmackDown that Byron is supposed to be a heel commentator, but he knows what he's doing to the point where he doesn't get overly annoying about it. But where JBL will just start yelling.
But it just seemed awkward. I was listening. As I'm listening, I felt annoyed by his presence. It just didn't come out natural. He was, trying to be a dick, but I felt like it was forced. And I was thinking, I was trying to get your insight if you got that same impression.
No, I didn't. I just think he's trying to. He hasn't. What it could be to me, and what I saw it as, is he might not be used to being a heel commentator yet. So it's going to take him some time to be able to adjust and fit the role. Okay. Like they want him to.
Well, I'm not going to be watching SmackDown anyway. I mean, I'll watch any live SmackDown, but it's not like I'm going to be too annoyed being the fact that I'm not going to be watching it. But I just thought at that time.
I watched SmackDown this week was because I have 2 podcasts to do.
Yeah, so. And I and I watched same here. And plus I was curious to how they were going to follow up the Royal Rumble, but I hope he gets adjusted, because my first impression of him on that team is I'm not into it at all. That would keep me away from another reason to keep me away from watching SmackDown. Okay. I was wondering if I was feeling the same way or not. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, dude.
If you watched Main Event before it got canceled, Byron Saxton and Tom Phillips did commentary on there, and they were great together. So if Byron Saxton has something that he can bounce stuff off of, like a Tom Phillips, then he can be great. But I think it's just a point, like I said earlier, he was told to be a heel, commentator, and he doesn't know how to be a heel right now, so he's got to learn on the fly and basically adjust everything on the air.
Yeah, and that was even a point where they showed the team, and I think Byron Saxton was talking, and Michael Cole's back was turned to him. Like, he said something, you could see him kind of roll his eyes or something. It was like a weird moment where it's like shut up. You know, like I felt they were annoyed that he was actually on the team, and it was just this body language that Cole gave when they gave that shot to them of the team and them talking. It was almost like he turned his back to him. I just never mind. It's not important because I'm not going to invest.
No, I don't know if I noticed that or not.
Yeah, it was weird.
I'd have to go back and watch.
Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, man, because we're like 2:20, man. Just plug.
I'm at 2:30.
Yeah. Hell. Plug your websites and stuff. And we'll call it a podcast.
First of all, you can follow me on Twitter at Headliner5. That's the number 5, not spelled out like F-I-V-E. So again, it's Headliner5. Read my Ring of Honor reviews at over at eyesonthering.blogspot.com. Follow us at Eyes on the Ring, at Eyes on the Ring on Twitter. Follow the Elite Podcast Network, which is where you can listen to our show at Elite Podcast Network. We're also on blogtalkradio.com/Elite Podcast Network. And if you go to Stitcher and search Elite Podcast Network, then you can add us and listen to us weekly. Every show, or there's about 5 or 6 shows on there. There's us, so Eyes on the Ring, Beyond the 3 Counts, Uncle Mike and Tom Show, Indie Power Rankings, Weekly Wrestling Podcast, and Wrestling Heads Radio. There's a few more that I can't think of off the top of my head. There's also a guy by the name of Chase Stevens has brought his podcast to the network. So we're growing weekly by the amount of podcasts we have on the network. Because I think there's like 7 or 8 right now. So.
Hey, you need to work. I need to work out my network with y'all, man. Like maybe I could slide in some of that shit. I'm going hard. I'm going hard over here too, man.
Maybe I can talk to somebody and put in a good word for you, and we can see what we can do.
That'd be awesome.
So.
But take your time with it. I mean, at y'all pace. I'm still doing it. It'd be cool to be part of a team. But I don't have much. I'm still developing stuff. We got over at the PJTW Central. We're trying to expand and do things more. Interviews with fellow Twitter friends, followers, such as Nathan. We're trying to get more of that. Call that Talking Wrestling With. We're gonna have you come back like every other week. Then you have, and then Jake, he does an NXT review with his Uncle Fritz, and that's called Faster Than the World. And then we have Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, and then I'm gonna try to. I'm still on the edges of it because I don't want to have to work to watch Lucha Underground and New Japan Wrestling. I just want to enjoy it for what it is, but I think I want to do a review of the two of those combined. I want to call it From East to West.
I was going to do Lucha Underground reviews for my for Eyes on the Ring, but I decided not to because I like to enjoy that show for what it is.
I don't want to work it.
So
I don't want to work it. I find myself actually like vining and Snapchatting spots, which will make, we'll see. That's what we're doing on our side.
Another thing I just want to throw in there too, you can also like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Eyes on the Ring. So go like us. I think we've got like 17 likes right now.
Oh, nice.
For like three months. So go and like us and increase those numbers. So,
all right. I'll like it after I do this shit.
I think I already sent you an invite, so I think you're good.
Oh, I think I liked it then.
Yep.
But check this out, right? We got to get the fuck out of here. I imagine
Yep.
whoever's listening is driving somewhere very far, or this is maybe their fourth or fifth attempt to finish this podcast on Stitcher.
Yeah, this is like the longest podcast I've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But we like to talk, and that's what we do here. It's called talking wrestling. With that, bid our listeners farewell, and I'm gonna hit this button right here. Finish.